Listen, the MAGA nuts are out there in those social media streets melting down. They are bawling. They are losing money. It is finally hitting them. Before we get into it, hey y'all, this is Tabitha. If you come across this video and are not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button. If you're over on TikTok and are not following me, hit that follow button. I'm trying to get to 500,000 subscribers. Baby, y'all remember when Donald Trump said this?
And by the way, isn't that breeze nice? Do you feel the breeze? Because I don't want anybody going on me. We need every voter. I don't care about you. I just want your vote. I don't care.
The MAGA nuts are finally realizing he meant that shit. Shout out to Courier News. Courier News provided all of these screenshots of these MAGA nuts melting down out there in those social media streets. Let's go through a few of them, shall we? Craig Smith says, I voted for you 3 times, but I am completely appalled at what your self-inflicted tariffs are doing to senior retirement accounts. We can't afford this recession that you're throwing the USA into. Everything you say tariff, we fall several percent. Stop it. 2026 election at risk.
I don't care about you. I just want your vote. I don't care.
Tammy says, I voted for you, but at 60 years old and my first year after retirement, your policy is killing me. Everything I've worked for just keeps dwindling away. So disappointing that you're banking everything for the future and are screwing me and my family.
Voter, I don't care about you. I just want your vote. I don't care.
Ron Hart says, I've worked all my life, put away a few bucks for retirement, less than you probably spend in a day. Voted for you. Now you want to take the pittance I worked my entire life to save.
I don't care about you. I just want your vote. I don't care.
Slow Fivio says, I voted for you 3 times, Mr. President. However, you decimated middle-class retirement funds with this trade war. I cannot support you any longer. You have crushed my ability to retire. I agree that things need to be negotiated and better deals need to be made, but we are paying.
I don't care about you. I just want your vote. I don't care.
Maureen says, the market is absolutely tanking. How could you do this to the people who voted for you? I'm actually terrified to wake up tomorrow and to see if I have any retirement left. How could you do this to a struggling middle class?
I don't care about you. I just want your vote. I don't care.
Rob Albright says, at Real Donald Trump, thanks for fucking up everybody's retirement, fucking up our life savings, for ruining a fun weekend with basketball, etc. Some of us don't have time to wait on recovery, and I voted for you. Fix it. Stop the victory lap and fix it.
Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope that you're doing super fine, super great from whatever you're watching us from. As you know, these are presented Generic Stories, and I'm hoping that you are great. Now, there's something that I want to talk about that I feel it's important. There's something called the illusion of rich solidarity amongst the rich themselves. You know very well that just recently when Mr. Donald Trump pushed for the tariffs, it was a way to eliminate small-scale business so that he can leverage and advantage the big corporates, the oligarchs, people who own the factors of production. Now, that being said, a lot of white rich people voted for Mr. Donald Trump, and they thought that when they vote for him, things will change. But as things went ahead, it turned out haywire. People are crying, their businesses are failing, people are going back home. Some people are really, really traumatized by the occasion or the occurrence of all this, as people are losing billions and millions of money. Now, I'm going to be talking about something which is really, really important. You see, rich people knew damn well that they are voting for a person who will bring back wealth to them. First, by making businesses favorable to them, because we know there is a huge disparity between white folks and black folks in the United States. That's if you try to look at the historical stats, right? So we have many rich white people as compared to black folks. Now, rich white people who voted for Mr. Donald Trump thought that things will go well for them. Little did they know that there is a division, right? They had the illusion of class solidarity amongst themselves as the rich. They didn't know there is a class between the small rich and the big rich. And now Mr. Donald Trump is trying to wipe out the small rich group of people, trying to wipe out the small businesses. That is how it's working. And in today's video, we're going to be seeing people talking about how they're losing their businesses. Black folks also talking about this. And I think this phenomenon is really, really important. Now, one of the biggest misconceptions in modern American political economy is the assumption that all wealth individuals share the same class interest. In reality, there is a deep and growing divide between petite bourgeoisie, that's small-scale business owners, local millionaires, franchise operators, and the out bourgeoisie, the ultra-wealthy oligarchs who control trillion-dollar corporations and financial institutions. While Trump may present himself as a champion of business in general, his policies have disproportionately benefited the out bourgeoisie, right? Those who already have monopolistic power benefited from those who monopolistic power, lobbying capacity, and offshore flexibility. And the SME owners support Trump out of cultural alignment, perceived tax breaks, or regulatory relief, but structurally, his administration has enabled the corporate consolidation that edges them off the market. And that's something that is happening. I'll just watch this video. I'll be back with my commentary as usual. As you know, these represent Agent Stories. For those who are watching us for the first time, I'll ask you to subscribe to the channel, join our membership, and really get so we can offer you. Until then, let's get into the video. I'll be back with my commentary as usual.
I don't care about you. I just want your vote. I don't care.
John Bennett says, I'm starting to think maybe I shouldn't have voted for Trump last November. These tariffs are starting to get ridiculous now that you are affecting my retirement. I hope for your sake things get better. Quick.
I don't care about you. I just want your vote. I don't care.
Trying to Inspire says, at Real Donald Trump, Mr. President, I enthusiastically voted for you, but you are failing baby boomers with your constant flip-flopping on tariffs. Collectively, today, those who are either retired or planning to will lose billions of dollars in their retirement accounts.
I don't care about you. I just want your vote. I don't care.
Greg G. 190 says, at Real Donald Trump, I voted for you, but midterms are flying out the door. Your actions destroy our hopes, plans to retire anytime soon. For God's sakes, why decimate everything at one time? It will take years to recover our retirement accounts, but it took you 3 months to destroy it.
I don't care about you. I just want your vote. I don't care.
And I have a whole lot more, but I think y'all get the point. I had at least 10 more screenshots, but y'all get the point. The MAGA nuts are realizing that Donald Trump meant what he said when he told them, I don't care about you, I just care about your vote.
And by the way, isn't that breeze nice? Do you feel the breeze? Because I don't want anybody going on me. We need every voter. I don't care about you. I just want your vote. I don't care.
He told y'all to your faces out there on the campaign trail. He don't care about you. He just care about your vote. And y'all laughed. Y'all thought he was playing. Y'all thought it was all jokes. He meant the left. He's owning the libs. And now look at you. You right in the same boat with us libs.
He lost $7 million in one day after publicly endorsing Trump for months and months and months. The tariffs hit him like a Mack truck. You can't make this up if you tried. So you all know that famous influencer, Dave Portnoy, also the owner of Barstool Sports, who does the reviews of like pizzas in New York City and was even... So we've all seen that video of a proud MAGA, Dave Portnoy, the owner of Barstool Sports, crashing out after losing $7 million in 24 hours after Trump implemented the tariffs. But wait, y'all, it gets even better. Check this out.
I went super viral when I said I lost $7 million. I'd kill to be back to losing $7 million. I haven't even looked. If I had to guess, I'm down in these last 3 days, probably close to 20. I don't know, like 10, 15% of my net worth, poof. But I'm still here. That's the game.
Yes, you heard that right. $20 million in less than 3 or 4 days. 10% of his net worth gone. And he still had the nerve at the end of that video to say, oh, y'all are trying to say I should have voted for Kamala. I would still never do nothing like that. His pride and his ego had him lose $20 million. Nothing could be any sweeter.
So Trump has officially started a trade war with everybody. And that's the situation that we're in. And now some of the people who supported him, who voted for him, the person you're seeing on screen here is Dave Portnoy, who is a sports podcaster, but then also has waded into politics. And he, during a stream, some content of some kind, announced that his portfolio has lost $7 million because of Trump's stock market crash sparked by these tariff announcements. I'll then show you somebody who laid out, just posted a thing of text saying, here's why I regret voting for Trump. And then a bunch of other things, including Republican Senator John Kennedy being aggravating as ever. Click the subscribe button. Let's get into it. A lot to discuss. I hope you're doing well despite everything. Here is Dave Portnoy, who's not doing well. Criminally loud outro music there from TikTok. And Dave Portnoy, he is a MAGA guy, but, you know, here and there he'll criticize. And unlike whenever we'll cover these stories of people losing millions of dollars because they invested in Trump's crypto or something, and it's a little bit more, oh, that's your problem. This is all of our problems, because the reason he lost, that means he has tons of money in investments to have lost $7 million. But it's a representative or a representation of the fact that everyone's retirement investments are seeing a huge blow. And this is, you know, even more consequentially, a potential, I'd say, inevitable sign of what is to come. Richard Hanania posted, for those asking, yes, voting for Trump was a mistake. I thought we'd get a repeat of the first administration, but we didn't. The signs were there. I just did not take my own ideas about the awfulness of Trump and MAGA seriously enough. When I said I would vote Trump in 2024, I was clear-eyed about the human capital problem on the right. I just thought that the basic ideological basis of conservatism, free markets, individual rights, tough on crime and foreign adversaries was sound, and enough of it was left over to make even a Republican president this personally flawed a better option. Yet I was expecting something of a repeat of the first administration, with Trump restrained by traditional conservative ideas, personnel, and institutions. As it turned out, the old Reagan coalition was becoming increasingly hollow, replaced by Trump worship, online edgelordism, and late arriving scammers like Crypto Bros and Maha. These signs were there, and I talked extensively about how Trump was becoming something of a cult leader with few checks on his whims and desires, but I must have thought that maybe Jared Kushner would just wait until he fell asleep around noon and then start making all the right calls, or that it would be Elon. But that Elon was a smart guy with libertarian views instead of someone whose brain had been completely melted by right-wing internet slop and ketamine. The problem in the end, though, wasn't just Trump as an individual, even though he is quite awful, but
these MAGA influencers are breaking at the seams. Dave Portnoy going online, crashing out. I mean, he was sweating in that video. He was so mad that he lost $7 million. Crashing out. But he wasn't crashing out when they're laying off all these people. Everybody's losing their job. No, it was until he started losing money that he started losing faith in Trump. Ben Shapiro called Trump unconstitutional. I've never heard Ben Shapiro criticize Trump in that manner. It's because these niggas are starting to lose money. And the craziest part is a lot of people were thinking that, you know, this was going to affect just, you know, poor working class, middle class. But now you're seeing that everyone is taking a hit. I said this early on. It's not just going to be us. It's going to be everybody. It's going to be millionaires. Everybody don't take care of their money how y'all think they take care of their money. Some of these guys like Dave Portnoy, Ben Shapiro, they go on splurges. That's why they make the videos that they make. That's why they're controversial. That's why they continue to be controversial. They make a shit ton of money. And he put a shit ton of money back into the stocks and all that stuff as well. And now you seeing their bottom dollar is going out. So it's hard to get up there on a microphone when you losing money. I don't know, man. Fuck around and find out.
Yo, I don't give a fuck. I am so happy right now. FAFO season is here. And watching these MAGA influencers lose their shit and their money, I don't understand why y'all aren't happy. I'm so happy for you. See, this is what you pushed for months, hell, years. This is what you wanted. This is what you voted for. FAFO.
Let's talk about Trump's obsession with tariffs and why this is not shocking, except for the one on China, but it'll be a part of the explanation. So by now I know a bunch of people are like, what in the fuck is this motherfucker's obsession with tariffs? Well, it goes back to his first administration. You see, Donald Trump had no fucking idea what he was doing when he entered the White House in 2017. Like, at all. That's why he had so many fucking rallies. That's why he spent so much time on a golf course. That's why his fucking day would start at like noon. Because he had no fucking idea what he was doing. But he knew he had to appear tough. Gotta be tough, tough, tough. America. He knew that he knew nothing about economics. At least he was honest about it. So he turns to the one person he knows can get the economic job done, Jared Kushner. And he tells Jared to find me someone who's good in economics but will make me look strong. So Jared, being the intellectual fucking genius that he is, goes to the one place he knows for a fact he can find a good guy on economics. Amazon. That's right. Jared Kushner Googled person good with economics. It takes him to Amazon, and there's a book. There's a book. It's called Death by China or something like that, and it's written by one Peter Navarro. This story gets so much fucking stupider. I can't even believe this. I can't. Now, there's an accompanying movie to this book. It's narrated by Martin Sheen, which fucks with me. Hey man, Martin, you're an Academy Award nominated actor. You do not have to do this. Come on now. You're a Sheen. Don't do that. You're in Apocalypse Now, sir. But anywho, Navarro believed that China was jobbing us, okay? It was really fucking us. And he felt the best way to get back at them is with tariffs. Tariffs. You put tariffs on shit and China and other countries will respect us. America. So Trump hires him to work in his government as the economic advisor. Here's where it gets fucking dumb. Now, good old Peter Navarro, when he writes these books, you gotta have experts, right? You gotta have a fucking expert. You gotta have a fucking expert. And Peter has one. His name was Ron Vera. Ron Vera is the person that Peter Navarro quotes in several of his books about tariffs and what China is doing. In fact, when Peter Navarro became part of Trump's administration the first time, Ron Vera sent out an email, not just to Republican senators, but Republican congresspeople as well, and that they were going to get behind Trump's ideas of tariffs. There's just one fucking problem with Ron Vera. And if you've watched Rachel Maddow, or if you've seen this from Parnas or anybody else, shut the fuck up. There are people that have not seen this. You see, Ron Vera does not exist. In fact, Ron Vera is an anagram. Ron Vera is Peter Navarro's last name as an anagram. Peter Navarro was quoting Ron Vera, which basically turns out to be Peter Navarro, in books about economics that caught the eye from Amazon of Jared Kushner, who then sent Peter Navarro with all this expertise from Ron Vera to Donald Trump. Donald Trump hired him. Ron Vera literally started sending out emails to our congresspeople and senators, and the tariff thing was born. Flash forward to Trump's second term. He still has tariffs on the brain. He still does. Like, fuck Herbert Hoover. Smoot Hawley. The fuck is that? Fuck the damage that's been done. No. Donald Trump comes in yelling tariffs. Tariff this, tariff that. And while he was tariffing, he was literally bending a whole bunch of Americans over and a bunch of American businesses over so he could tariff that ass. And now that the tariffs that he put in, remember last week was Liberation Day? The tariffs that he's put in has caused fucking havoc on the fucking stock market. Shit was falling faster than a song by R. Kelly on the charts. He still has tariffs on the brain. Thanks to his first administration, Jared Kushner, Google, Amazon, a book called Death by China, Peter Navarro, and Peter Navarro's anagram last name of Ron Vera. This is the stable genius y'all keep talking about.
Hello, welcome back guys. Welcome to the channel, and I'm grateful for you taking your time and seeing all this craziness that is happening in the United States. Now, that being said, it means that we have a lot to talk about. And for me, usually I always try to do some research in regards to all these topics so that I can share with you facts in regards to the concepts. For me, I give concepts like theoretical concepts of practical things that are happening in the contemporary United States. Now, you know that just recently, Mr. Donald Trump introduced tariffs, and these tariffs were affecting small-scale business owners because the top 1%, that's the big, large corporates who are owning factors of production, who are enjoying monopolistic markets, right? The top 1%, the rich top 1%, Mr. Donald Trump is trying to make them have the monopolistic power by wiping out the small businesses. And that's what's called the protectionist policy. He's trying to protect the small scale business from entering the market to reduce competition. And that's how it goes. Now, tariffs as a tool of protectionism or corporate consolidation. When Trump imposes tariffs under the guise of economic nationalism or protecting American jobs, the actual impact often favors large conglomerates that can absorb the short-term costs and restructure supply chains. Smaller companies, which depends on affordable imports to keep their costs low, are disproportionately harmed. These SMEs don't have the capital or international footprint to pivot quickly. For instance, A small-scale manufacturer rely on Chinese steel or electronic components sees their margin vanish overnight, while a mega corporation like Amazon or General Motors can either pressure suppliers or automate around the cost hikes. Tariffs becomes a selective weapon not to protect domestic capitalism broadly, but to destroy weaker capitalists and consolidate sector under giant players. And that's how the game is being played here. I'm also going to be talking about the neoliberal trap, deregulation, and capital flight. Now, Trump's deregulatory agenda appeals to rich individuals who are tired of bureaucratic oversight, right? However, the deregulation often benefits financial capital far more than productive capital. For example, rolling back environmental, financial, or labor protections disproportionately helps investment banks, hedge funds, and multinational conglomerates, rather than small or regional businesses that can afford to compete on low margins or exploitative practices. Moreover, capital flight is easier for billionaires with global interests. When Trump deregulates, it doesn't guarantee that capital remains in the US. It just facilitates its movements into offshore accounts or offshore investments, leaving small domestic players exposed to economic instability. That's also another thing that you need to understand. Also, I'm going to be talking about class fragmentation and culture war distraction. Many affluent individuals vote against economic self-interest due to ideological alignment or identity politics. Trump has effectively weaponized culture war on immigration, to race, to education, and religion to forge a coalition that includes both working-class white Americans and mid-tier business elites. The cultural loyalty overrides economic logic. Even when tariffs or tech policies at their businesses, many still support Trump because he represents their value on gun rights, religion, or anti-wokeness. This is a classic case of a false consciousness where a segment, it's called false consciousness, I'll say again, where a segment of the capitalist class misidentifies their interest due to ideological capture rather than material analysis, right? I'm also going to be talking about the role of monopsony and monopoly power. Under Trump's policies, and even preceding him, the American economy has increasingly become characterized by monopoly and monopsony. Monopsony structures. Monopsony power is a situation where a few buyers dominate a market. Means giant corporations dictate terms to small suppliers. If a small manufacturer loses access to affordable inputs due to tariffs, they can compete for big contracts. Meanwhile, monopolies like Walmart or Apple can negotiate exclusively terms vertically and integrate the supply chains. That is, Trump's tax cuts and tariff structures inadvertently accelerates these dynamics by increasing the cost of competition and allowing monopolies to squeeze out their players. Hi. I'm also going to be talking about disaster capitalism and strategic crisis. Some analysts argue that Trump economic strategy fits the mold of disaster capitalism, a term popularized by Naomi Klein. This theory posits that crises, economic, social, or political, are intentionally exacerbated to justify extreme reforms that benefits the elite. For example, or for instance, by inflating economic uncertainty through trade wars or threats of decoupling from China, Trump creates volatility that tanks small businesses but enriches speculative investors and assets holder. Now, in this context, wealth is transferred from vulnerable capitalists to oligarchs who thrive in chaos. It's not accidental, it's structural, ideological, favoring a system where wealth is concentrated in fewer hands. I'm also going to be talking about the paradox of anti-establishment billionaire politics. Trump's appeal to anti-establishment billionaire masks the reality that his policy outcomes largely reinforce establishment structures, particularly those tied to financial, fossil fuels, and militarization. While SMEs are concerned with local markets and community stability, oligarchs operate on global scale. Trump's tax code rewrites, for instance, rewarded capital gains over wage or productive income. So even if local real estate investors or tech startup CEO felt included in the Trump economy, they were ultimately left out of the long-term structural advantages afforded to big tech, big pharma, and Wall Street. And lastly, this is what I'm going to be talking about. The endgame: oligarchs disguise as populism. In the end, Trump's brand of populism is a Trojan horse for oligarchy, right? It gives the appearance of fighting for the forgotten America, while engineering a system that extracts from both labor and mid-level capitalists. The tariffs, deregulations, and cultural wars serves as smoke screens. While power is consolidated into the hands of the few billionaires, those with sufficient scale and lobbying influence to shape policy. So yes, when rich individuals are losing money under Trump, not because he is anti-capitalist, but is pro-oligarch, and they've mistakenly assumed two positions are aligned. His strategy is not level the playing field, but narrow the gate to the elite. Yes, that's how it works. These are presented Jintek stories. For those watching us for the first time, welcome to the channel. Like, share, subscribe so that people are like-minded like you can also get to have this information. But until then, peace, love, and harmony. Salute.